choichadeki a chumpi yung skawachashaki and a chum heha a chuku koki big deshnicha chakak saksaka or kanjaki. O hena echa el lehantu kechi techakechi el umpi. El akiphaps ni sechakha solyapina. Dos cables apiki and you is kawashichi agalakandi. Oash hel tanko yakechi walk hanki el yake. There's cultural changes that happen, and it's hard to explain some of that to speak in the English language because words are different. I don't like the English language. It's too deceitful. It can be. My soul is hurting, so I need to go to the shoe repairman and get it repaired. My soul is hurting, so I have to go, and I've got to go pray, and I will heal my soul. Deceiving, right?
Yeah.
I am completely outraged at what the rainbow people have done to the Black Hills. Well, if I'm outraged, how come I'm sitting here so calmly and using the word? I would expect someone to say outrage and putting their hair out, ranting and raving like James, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's actually White Swan, but they changed that name, and I don't know if he's part of it, but Mahaska, and that was a special leader up there. I had much respect for him because he was one of the leaders that they call in English chief, but we call Naja. And if he's hearing the Takoja speaking like that, it goes back to my first one is prayer, second one is know who you are, third one is learn to respect yourself. Respect is to mean that you will not conduct yourself in any way to corrupt your mind, your body, and your soul. The soul is a guidance. But in that way of learning respect, you understand that first and foremost, you're a soul. You're a soul in a body. That's who you are. You learn to respect that because your soul will guide you. Vichanariki omanaya ekta ampetua ekioniti. Vichanari, man, the soul of man, will someday return back to a place where there's a road that goes to it, back to the spirit world, the gathering place of the soul. There, I look forward to that. I myself look forward to it because I want to connect with my grandfather again. I want to connect with my father. I want to connect with his father. I want to go all the way around to wherever that first one was, and I want to shake hands with every one of them. Why should I do that? Yeah, no. You remember there's a hell. What the hell is hell? Oh, it's a place you burn eternally. Gee, I like that. Arthritis, knees that I've been praying with. It gets cold. It bothers me. There's eternal heat. I don't know if we can have plastic chairs, but if I could sit there and warm myself up, that'd be good. Devil, preachers that came Catholic, they knew Lakota. They understood it. They practiced it. They learned it, and they came and they used it in the conversion aspect. And so they said, "There's a devil, and there's hell." And so this hell sounded appealing. You know, when it gets cold here in South Dakota, it's anything like Montana. That cold wind is blowing, and you have to find whatever you can. Sometimes even burn rubber tires to keep warm. Hell sounds like a good place. But on the other hand, there's the devil. Well, who's the devil? He's a fallen angel. Can you give me a name for it? Fallen angel. That's someone that Shicha Opiche. And an angel, Wakan. Okay? Wakan Shicha. What in the world could be Wakan is sacred and Shicha is evil? What in the world means sacred evil? Have you ever met someone sacred evil?
Oh, several.
Have you?
Yes.
But you can't be both.
They go back and forth sometimes as they challenge you to be the purest that you can be to deal with.
If you're sacred, you will always be sacred. Because the governance of being sacred removes any aspect of evil. So you have not met both of them.
Evil is only temporary.
So I wouldn't accept your answer. Anybody else? Who has met someone that's sacred and evil simultaneously? It doesn't make sense. Sacredness is in itself. It's an entity in itself. Evil is an entity by itself. People jump in there and they want to do things. You see, I don't like these rainbow people. You know, they use alcohol. They have sex orgies. I don't think you're interested in sex orgies anymore. Maybe you're not, but I look at it, but I sure can't come up with anything.
Oh, God.
Right?
25 years happily married. And I give thanks and grace for that.
And
I've
20
been
for me
married.
for that woman.
20 years.
20. I've been married 40, almost 50 years.
Wow.
But 32 years, 16 years with my first wife, and now 32, that's 48,
Yeah.
2 wives. But didn't work, 16 years of it. Single for 3 years. And yeah, I got into the orgy thing. But I met another lady, and I've been married to her for 32 years. And, I lost my ring. Oh my God.
Where's your ring at?
A second ring I've lost, really. I had it on yesterday.
Maybe it's in bed.
No.
Yeah, I
You're
lost.
talking to the
Might be in the bed or something.
I lost because the bone of is that's what I'm going back to is my bone, and the
Yeah,
meat
getting
is
skinnier.
making me smaller. It fell off.
No.
First one fell off. Second one I threw away. I mean, the first one I threw away. The second one fell off because I started losing weight. I weighed 395 pounds.
Yikes.
And I healed myself through garden. I lost 185 pounds, 4 years. But anyway, the sacred evil is not there. It's brought to us. Respect. Learn to respect yourself. That's hard to do sometimes. Because if there is truly the sex orgies and the drinking and the drugs that were up there, that would be a challenge for somebody that has learned to respect themselves. It would be a challenge.
I think that is overstated. All of
I know,
that.
I know.
I
I know, that's the
anyways.
press speaking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see that.
No.
But the fourth one is learn to respect others. That's a big one. Because the violations of the evil is now changing Grandmother Earth. And we're talking about this or that. But let me tell you, we know that there's going to be a cleansing. How do we cleanse? We know that fire cleanses. Fire in itself, peta. We even call ourselves 7 council fires. Because in there are these kinds of things that we are gradually losing by generation. We're losing our language, and with that is the meanings of the articulation of the word. Lakota, where our language is capable of combining both this side of the brain, emotional, feeling side, this side of the brain, which is logical. Logical is process things. But English cannot incorporate emotion and feeling with logic. We can't. Uchi, grandmother. But Every one of us has had a grandmother. And if you've been fortunate enough to know your grandmother, of the love that they had for you as their grandchild, there's good memories in there. But if you're going to articulate that in the English language, you say, I remember my grandmother. She was so loving, and she made the best bread. She made the cookies. I mean, there's something there. Grandma let me do everything. Mom, Mom was very strict, wouldn't let me do. Grandma said, here, take some gum, candy. You're not supposed to have candy or gum. You're going to ruin your teeth. Lovingly, Grandma. All we have to do is take that collectively from the English language and put la at the end of it. Unchila. There's unchi and there's unchila. Unchila then becomes emotion. In my mind, in the Lakota language, I'm bringing that emotion and also bringing in that part which is the logical side of, yes, grandmother, so and so. That's awesome. And how dare they take that language away from us?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Greed. Greed. We learn to respect ourselves and we learn to respect others. That's everything that's created. But here is an enemy. It's not unique in the sense that it came and started in the United States. It's not unique to say that it came and was started by the white people. It's not unique to say it was started by the black people, the yellow people. If you want to get into that race type of thing, it's very special when we talk in terms of what is it. Each one of you is looking at an enemy in your life. The enemy was present at Rainbow Gathering. The one day that you're working for. How do you call it? The spiritual or the enlightenment, or that yesterday?
It's the quiet or the silence before.
The prayer for peace.
It's the prayer for peace. It's done in silence, and then then there's an om that takes place, and there are thousands of people in a circle all around the meadow, and then the children come in with a parade of happiness, and at that point, it breaks into the joy, and it's just a spontaneous prayer that is phenomenal.
And you felt it.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing better than to feel that energy that's there.
Mm-hmm.
The energy of one thought that has been brought forward. And silence is good because there's a lot of messages that come in silence. I don't like to talk very often. I'm more of a listener. But I'm not listening to discussion. I'm listening out here. I'm listening to the things that are there. And I'd like to get to the point where I can just communicate with the others that I respect. But energy is another word that I use, where that strength can come together in oneness. There's a lot of power there. I know it. I've seen it. I've felt it. So I know what you're saying. And that's good. Respect is common in that setting. Where there's disrespect is on the outside. But you build a power base so strong that it can last you for another year, if it be, or forever, if it be. And there's always someone or an enemy that's there. I know who that enemy is. You know who it is? It's a spirit that was created by man. You know what that enemy's name is? Homo economicus. Homo economicus, created by man. And so Homo economicus is going to say, feather, get that book in balance, and I want you to make it more than what it was. When you balance your book, you show that there's what is called gross profit after taxes, or maybe you don't even want to pay net profit or whatever. Net profit. Good girl, you did it.
Value certificates. Yeah.
Homo economicus started 700 years ago. Actually, before that, but it came in acceleration when the beginning of the Industrial Revolution started. Where did it start? England. I mean, not England, but Europe. By the understanding that, say, I can take this and I can make something out of it and I'll sell it. And here is my cost and here's my profit. I'll sell it for this price. Homo economicus is a spirit. 700 years of making. Homo economicus has developed a field of knowledge so great that it becomes a spirit, Homo economicus. And the spirit, to obtain what is going to make Homo economicus happy, is subjugation, is colonization, is movement in one way or the other to create profit and wealth. Because in that wealth, I have power. And you guys have probably met, all of you have probably met those power people at one point in your life. And I would say that at this point, we look at them with distaste.
Disdain.
Compassion as well.
You have to know the enemy, but you don't destroy the enemy because the enemy will destroy you. You learn to respect it by understanding the mechanics of it. And when we gather in the circle, sacred circle, why not? Because in this circle, everything which points to Creator, God, is in that circle. Everything that God has made is in that circle. What a beautiful place to be. As an elder, older person, I've lived a full life. I have received as much education in this English-speaking world, and I continue to receive it. I read a lot, and I retain a lot. I have that gift. And then I speak with my counterparts who I prefer speaking Lakota with. And we are the elders. And when we get together, we speak only Lakota. It's a beautiful language. And we study these things. We spent the whole morning talking about the Rainbow family this morning. And we spoke of it in terms of who are we here on the reservation. And we spoke of bringing the buffalo back. You know, Davidica has mentioned the warrior society, Tokalas. There's men Tokalas that were supposed to be the leaders. They were the ones that protected. They were the ones that fought when fighting is necessary. But when Davidica talks about Tokalas, she has had to take the role of warrior. That's what life is. And she's strong enough that she's going to stand up and she's going to fight for those things. Her and I had a strong discussion because they tried to demean her. And I told her how important she was. And so I have no problem with her saying she's a warrior because she is. In reality, she has to fight for her children, her grandchildren, her mother, her heritage, us elders. She's a fighter. And she's not afraid to fight. She will fight. Warriors, protectors. We want to see that back. We want to see the society rose. We want to see the women, because not only is Grandmother Earth being harmed, don't worry about Grandmother Earth. She has already taken care of herself. I'll jump back to that. Grandmother Earth has already initiated the things necessary to destroy Homo economicus. Because there's a time coming when fire is fire and fire purifies. You know, right now, if you keep up with the news, Greece over there being kicked out, they decided not to join the Euro thing. All the countries in Europe, they have the Euro system, and Greece is not out of it. Stocks are starting to tumble. Chain reaction is very possible. But Homo economicus created this little dollar bill all the way up to these stocks and bonds. They can burn. They will burn. The intent of us was way back, you know, in science, they say 14 billion years ago. A long time ago. There's a spot that you guys found up there in the Black Hills. It's a spot on top of a hill that is black soil. You dug down 3 feet and you saw black soil. The richest of soil in terms of black gold, the soil that can grow food. It's already been of life that was created to black soil. You found that. That was a blessing for you guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask the question. Because you found a place that shows that this is the oldest mountain range in the world. I laughed when someone said, "You're coming to desecrate our land." Where were you 139 years ago when those gold seekers came in and went into frenzy?
Yeah.
Digging up, cutting up, tearing up, destroying. Where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you now when they're taking this sacred mountain and saying, we're creating it for sacredness for Crazy Horse? When I went up there, and I just went for, and it's coming up in September, Korjak's birthday, and they're going to do a massive bombing of Terri. I went up for that, and you know what happened? It hit me right in the heart. Actual pain hit me in the heart. And I wasn't happy. I said, you're taking Homo economicus and you're saying you're going to create honoring Crazy Horse. If you're going to honor him, you should learn to see that Homo economicus is an enemy and you need to respect him. Respect is really universal. But when it comes to respect the enemy, and you find the enemy and you try to destroy it, that's not the way. You learn to respect that enemy, and you can put them aside, you can talk to them. If they don't want to see what you're thinking, so be it, they go their way. Because only you can have happiness, just like me. And that happiness is, I'm enjoying this because this is healed. I'm happy. But it's me that's happy. You too have to go back and find your happiness and examine it. What brought me to that happiness? There's been some down things, you know, the opposition, the press. I counted in one column, I counted 4 incidents that went back as far as, 70 something. And the press said, oh yeah, they killed each other over there. They did this at this one. And here's a picture of them. Look at all these lovely, well-built women that are exposing themselves. What? Trash. Because Homo economicus say, hey, they're doing something that's not right. They're telling us to preserve and they're telling us to protect. And they're going to show that to us. And what are we going to write about? We're going to write nothing. We're not going to say nothing. But if there is one violation, oh, they broke that branch. We'll go over and take a picture. Look what damage they did. Homo economicus rules. That's who your enemy is. It's not Swan. It's not the Forest Service. It's Homo economicus. And by the way, I don't own, you don't own any of Grandmother Earth. We are caretakers. We are guardians whatever word it is. Those little piles that Stephen is now raked up, those are going to be hauled over here and they're going to be made into compost. This garden is just starting. It's the beginning. And there's going to be a lot more that's done in there. But if you're going to go in that garden, put your bad feelings over here. Take your good feelings and go in there. Offer a prayer in there. Sacred. In there is some seed that I have that was never used by any other culture. That seed is a seed that, as it's ripening, it is a kind of a maroon color. And when it becomes ripe, it turns to deep purple. It's to feed an offering to the thunderbird. Give us water. We thank you for the water that you've given us. Don't hit me with the lightning bolt, because I want to work that, and I will do everything to get away from that. I will go inside if I have to, and you bring your lightning bolt, and you bring your thunder, because we know that's God's power. We know it. We hear it. But we also ask you to take this, and we offer a prayer that you take back to the spirit world, to our ancestors, as a gift, thanking them for giving us the time to be here. We will also take this and we will pound it up and we'll make some little tortillas out of it, or we'll cook it in a soup. We have some flat beans that are also there. There's very few of them, but we planted them and they're going to be there to raise this family so that it can be more. That's why I was so happy when I saw those beans come in here. They're powerful in terms, not the gas, but the protein. The protein that's there. And I would prefer a bean to that protein that is being raised right now through beef. Because what is in there? That beef is only, its purpose is to eat the grass. It's got two stomachs. One is filled up and it goes to the next stomach. And that's how it's lean. But the rancher takes it and it sells it to feedlot and they put it in there and they feed them corn. That's not their food. They get diarrhea, so they give them a shot. All those shots are in that meat. And they say, here's your protein. No, this bean, it doesn't have any shots in there because its purpose is protein. That's all I wanted. So I was happy when I seen that. I could think about this winter when it's cold, I'm going to make a nice pot of bean stew. Throw a little bit of onion in it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of salt bacon, just a little bit of it. And I'm going to bake myself some bread. And I have the best meal that's there. Life. Giver of life. That's what's there. So, the four principles: prayer, identity, respect yourself, respect others. That's what I wanted to share with you, because each one of those requires thinking. Each one of them requires a searching. When you go back and you have time, go stand out in the middle. Look to these four directions. Look above. Look beyond. And you're in the center of everything that is that moment. But put in your mind, ask yourself the question, am I better than everything that I see? Am I better things, everything that I can taste? All my senses. Am I better than these things? No. You're not. That's your relative. I'm no better than any of these things. Homo economicus is prancing all around you, saying, no, that's not right, don't think that way. In many forms, they will be. Homo economicus is there. 700 years of growth of Homo economicus, and we're seeing the end of it today. We're seeing Grandmother Earth, Unchila Makha. We're seeing that to be changed. Don't be afraid of what's going to happen? Fire purifies. Fire can purify anything. When it does, yes, things will come back. Maybe of all of the earth that, however time it is, maybe all of that place which has become concrete, pavement, will be black soil again. 3 feet, 4 feet deep. By who? By us laying there, turning into a part of Grandmother Earth, enjoying it. Beautiful thought. So don't be disturbed by these little minuets, I would say. They don't matter. What matters is you. You're a soul in a human body. Indigenously, that's what I share with you. I've come to a point, I'm not afraid of that. Like I say, I want to go back to the spirit world. That's where I came from. And I want to meet. Wouldn't it be great to meet your 14th generation grandfather? Wouldn't it be nice?
Everything from that connected.
Yeah.
Whole family is.
Yeah. And if you don't know your identity right now, you'll probably get it when you go over there. Yeah. What a great celebration that would be. You will be happy as much as I am happy with this total.
These are very good teachings for us. And in part, I'm thankful just to receive them right here and take them infuse them into my understanding. But in part, we want to be able to share these teachings with a lot of the young people that come to the Rainbow. Because like, as you were saying before, we all have tribal backgrounds. Some of our tribal backgrounds are going to be Celtic or African or Mexican or Hebrew or Russian. We come from the tribes, and we got swept up by Homo economicus, who broke our tribes apart, just like they tried to break yours. And we left the corporate bankster state system looking for something, and we found these little threads of tribal understandings, and we wove them together to make our own baby tribe. Rainbow Tribe is 44 or so years old, 40-something years old. The tribe that you are part of here with this land is 10,000 or some huge number of years old. And it's very important for us to be able to receive information and encouragement and knowledge, and because we are trying to save ourselves, save each other, save humanity if only we could. And we know that the tribal knowledge that people like yourself possess is essential for us and our children to survive and endure and flourish and grow. I just thank you so much for the time. We're going to try to share some of these thoughts, both personally back at the gathering, and also through a little video that hopefully we'll be able to share as a teaching tool. If I could say one more thing, Homo economicus hates us because up there in that gathering, everything's free. There's no exchange of money, and
or even trading goods. I mean,
He was
it's a
probably
wish to
jumping up and down, and
plug
he was
in.
completely, what was that word I said? Outraged. Outraged by what you guys are doing. It's the spirit, man-made spirit. I bet you guys never heard of Homo economicus before, have you?
Never.
No, this is a good coin.
Yeah.
Well, Homo
Carry it
economicus
forward.
took a pretty interesting hit today. New York Stock Exchange was shut down, frozen
Oh.
for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Really?
Computer glitch.
Yeah.
So Homo economicus took a pretty big hit today.
just as you said, just as you said.
Can
Can I share something with what you were saying about death?
Sure.
Feather and I took care of her father in the last 2 years of his life, and he had Alzheimer's, and he was just faded away. And the last night that he was alive, he was suffering, but not really conscious. And we have a Salish friend that Feather called, and she can see beyond this realm. And she told us that his brother was waiting for him on the other side. And he said he didn't have a brother. It's like, not from this life, never was. And that they were dressed in kind of funny clothes, like gypsies. And they had instruments, and they're all tuning their instruments, waiting for this great celebration for him to come back. And so I went out and I painted a picture of Vic as a young man in gypsy garb, dancing. And that night he died and passed on. So what you said sounded very much like what she said.
It's good you had that experience. Sad news,
Yeah.
but it's good to know that we too will be.
It was wonderful. And then after my father passed, after these years of caring for him, 17 months after he passed, I was in a very, very bad accident. I fell 20 feet out of a tree, free fall.
Wow.
And I would have died. I would have snapped my neck. Except when I landed, I hit my heel first, smashed it in 3 pieces, and I hit my mid-back. Grrr, pop, pop, pop. Broke 3 vertebrae, broke my rib. And laying there under the tree, at the same time, I felt this incredible supernatural force behind me, very gentle, very soft. It was like I was being tucked in the mother eagle's breast and totally protected. And then this force very gently laid my head on the ground, and I landed on dirt and bunch grass. So I was protected. And then the helicopter came and took me away. And my youngest son said right after the helicopter left, a bald eagle flew down the river, circled 4 times over the tree I'd fallen from, and then kept going in the direction of the helicopter. 4 days after that, I called my dear friend, David Milgram. I was so upset, cried for hours and hours and hours, and he said, Feather, and he's the healer that I worked with Grandfather David Manunge with for 11 years up in Flagstaff. And he said, you're going to be fine. You're going to recuperate completely. And I want you to call this number. And this is a friend of mine who's a very powerful Lakota medicine woman who works behind the scenes. I'll give you her phone number, but I won't even tell you her last name. And call her up, and she will help you. And I did. She answered the phone. It was early in the morning. A friend of David's. She goes, oh, I see you. She goes, you're way high up, and you're surrounded by fire. And I was on the 4th floor of St. Pat's Hospital in Missoula, and we were having the worst fire season we'd had in years, and the air was choked with smoke, and the mountains around were on fire.
Yeah, I
So,
remember.
yeah, I know you were having trouble breathing with the asthma. I was too. And so I knew that she had the sight and that she knew. And she said, I'm calling in right now, calling in Thunder Beings of the West to help protect you, and there's 4 of them. And I'm calling in 7 warrior spirits, 7 men warrior spirits to circle around you, and then 7 women warrior spirits. And I want you to prepare spirit plates when you eat your food. And as you're recuperating, pray to them, talk to them, ask for their help and protection. And you will recuperate completely. And then she said, oh, by the way, do you know who saved your life? And I said, well, I kind of have a hunch, but I'm not positive. And she says, well, you're right. It was your father. And he's with me right now, and he's laughing, and he's so grateful that he could help. And he's calling you Gidget. And I suddenly remembered that when I was 6 years old, he used to call me Gidget when I was a little girl, and I was right back in our family room with a knotty pine, and he was laughing. And then after we got off the phone, I thanked her very, very much. And I did those ceremonies for months while I was flat on my back, recuperating. And then at that moment too, my father's spirit came right into my room because he passed 17 months before that. Went home peacefully in the ceremony that Rick just told you. And he was there with me. He was laughing. We were embracing one another in the spirit. And it was just the most incredible feeling. And I realized I am alive because of an absolute miracle. My father coming from the spirit world and saving my life, physically saving my life. What a gift. No matter how much pain I go through with this healing, it's all worth it to experience a miracle like that.
Your job isn't finished. You had some things to finish. Yeah, you're really fortunate to have that because it validates that there is another world. That's why I was asking, are any of you atheists? I met an atheist yesterday. Probably the first one I met. I don't know if they're a true atheist, but told me they are. But spirit world. There's two things that came across my mind, and I wanted to share those with you. And if I have time, I need to go soon. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
And my batteries are going down, I'm sorry.
First thing, rainbow. And most people think the rainbow is across the sky. Pot of gold is what they say. Irish. Who's Irish here? Okay,
That little
so
bit.
yeah, there's a little pot of gold for you guys there. But you go over there, but it's over there next, and never can come right to it. But you take the rainbow, doesn't stop there. Same thing that we're talking about. And sometimes you can capture that picture. I've seen some pictures of the rainbow in a circle. You do that circle as what's your first name again? I'm sorry.
Art.
Okay, I'm sorry, Art. That's all right. I'm talking about the two things I wanted to share. One is your rainbow family. And it's not just this. Rainbow is this. What is it? Circle.
It's a hoop.
Sacred hoop. So, I don't know if your family, as members of this belief, I don't know if they understand that, but if they don't, they need to understand that. But it is a circle. And it is sacred. And it is a rainbow from what we're saying is all colors. Right there. In there is the presence of Creator. And in there is the presence of that which has been created. We use that. And I share it with you. Because what's better than being in that realm of either spiritual or, more importantly, sacred? As she speaks of her father, and probably every one of you could relate to that spiritual connection because some point in your life the hair stood up on my back and you looked around, someone is here, I don't see anybody. But in the culture that you come from, they teach you to be scared of ghosts and goblins, celebrate Wiccans, is that what they call it? Halloween, and you got trick or treat, and you got the little ghosts. Ghosts and spirit are different. But sometimes the confusion is that you fear the ghost because you don't want nobody to touch you with a bony hand, but you feel back here in your bones that you can grab a wrist or something. Don't want that. But in terms of having that experience, I would venture to guess that each one of you has had that kind of experience. And probably in your society that you have, your people that you have, you can share those things, and they can be accepted. But if you go outside in that other culture,
Yeah.
and you say, you know, I felt this thing, and I was saved by my father. And I said, you know, there was something wrong with Feather. I wonder if she's getting counseling. Is she on Ritalin or is she on something? They tend to judge.
Yeah.
You cannot freely talk about these things. And we should have that right. We should have that right to share that. And I would venture to guess that each and every one of you have had that experience. And somewhere in the back, you're not sharing it, you keep it. And that's fine. I mean, but all I'm saying is that the spirit world is there. And that circle is there. So that I want to leave with you. The other thing that I want to leave with you is you need to be true to yourselves. You are searching for your tribalism. You can come to indigenous and get some ideas of it. What are some of the principles that are alike in creation home? But you don't need to use us in terms of really coming in and becoming part of us. You don't need that. And some are going to take offense to that. Why do you want to be that? No. You are searching for your own true identity. I know who I am because I know where I came from, what I am. If it's Celtic, Gaelic, yeah, maybe you're connected to that island up there where those little, I mean, not little, but huge, what do they call that?
Monoliths.
Yeah, standing stones.
The stones, the lay stones.
Yeah, where's that island?
Stonehenge.
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 Stonehenge. And there's another one in England, too.
And in fact, a Stonehenge is
Okay,
one
what's
of the
the
ones
one
that's in England.
on the other side?
Cornwall?
Easter Island?
Easter
Easter
Island.
Island.
Yeah.
Easter Island and
And do you know that
Stonehenge.
there's one up there by the Netherlands? Yeah, it's not told, but it's there. That's where you guys, that's your heritage. Know who you are because you know where you came from, what you are. We are equal. We are people. We're human beings. We are equal. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. That's acceptable. And as you're looking, you will find it either now or in the spirit world when you can go and see the 14th generation grandfather. Searching for your identity.
And yet here the
Be
people
proud
are
of it.
much closer to that, to the roots of that
Yeah.
identity, whereas in
We're
Europe
helping
it's,
connect you.
it's way past. I mean, Homo economicus has already had a lot of time in Europe away from all of that tribalism.
You can bring it back.
Yeah.
How? Go into the spirit world. Bring these things back. So I celebrated a Celtic gathering in Amsterdam, near Amsterdam. I drank. I just tasted it. I didn't drink because I don't drink alcohol, but I drank it from a horn. And I touched it with my lips. It was a commemoration of the harvest time. A ceremony that they do.
Yeah.
Give them a call. What are your prayers? What do you do? I am connected to this. I pray and I bring the spirit world because we do this. Let the spirit lead. The spirit can do most anything.
Well, in this rainbow, it's a gathering, right? And that itself is, of course, a noun and a verb, and it's a rainbow gathering, which is an invitation to all, without dogma and without any specific thing that.
Yeah, but Homo economicus is there talking against it.
Right, but not in the gathering.
No.
In the gathering, it
You
is
can't
all.
community. No.
It's people who are plugged in with each other, or making bread, making. All of this is done without trading, without money. No certificates of value need to pass hands with us, you know. And so, in that sense, we're looking for a new identity, which is beyond Celtic or beyond, you know, somehow a coming together. One white light broken into the spectrum is all of those colors, but it all comes from that one light, that one, like you say, essence.
And I respect that. I respect that. But you cannot recreate who you are. Does that mean anything to you?
Well, now, many of us cannot go find our Celtic
No.
roots. I'm not going to go back to Ireland and find people, you know, I'm not going to go live there necessarily just to go find separate Irish roots, you know. In the gathering, we find a new identity that is somehow all one, and the colors are all from that one light. I mean, we're all one.
I wish you well on that. But
Yeah.
again, you do have the 14 generation grandfathers that are there. And they say, what the heck is he doing? He's got my blood in me. And you're saying, well, I want to do something different. Prayer. Identity. Very strong. When you're in that circle, looking for the Spirit.
You have a valuable thing here. It's wonderful that you're so close and that you have family this way. Many of us will not find that in our lives, except that we have this thing that we aspire towards.
Yeah, you have that, and that's good. But through prayer, through the Spirit connection, if you don't know, pray. Heck, learn Celtic. It can be learned.
We are starting to get